Today we're going to talk about taking charge of your brain health, and I will give you 5 tips for reducing brain fog. Life is short on balance and long on stress. It is easy to feel overwhelmed, isolated, and totally out of balance. How do we find better emotional balance? Don't leave it to chance or some accident of the universe. A well-fed brain is key. Make sure you have a daily routine or range of activities that strengthen your brain in different ways. By keeping your brain healthy, you can create a better, happier balance in your life and share it with those around you. I'm Leann Herron, certified health and life coach and owner of Finding Resilience with Leann and Happiness on Tap podcast. I am not a doctor, a therapist, or a nutritionist. These are just a few personal suggestions that help me reduce my brain fog. Today I would love to give you some suggestions that dramatically improved my brain fog. 2 years ago, I was drowning in trauma soup, and I was experiencing terrible brain fog. I wasn't completely sure if it was due to my trauma soup, if it was some kind of trauma response from long-term trauma, or if it was menopause or COVID-19, but it was all one big bowl of brain fog, and I wasn't happy and I didn't like it. And either way, I just started spending time researching the causes that contribute to brain fog, as well as the things that I could do to take control of my brain fog. So I'm going to share with you 5 tips. My first tip is try to get at least 30 minutes of exercise every day. There is now evidence out there that walking at a moderate pace for 20 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week, can really improve your memory. I'm sorry, things are falling everywhere. Number 2, get your omega-3s. And I will be the first one to admit that I was so poor in making sure that I was getting my omega-3s in my diet because I don't eat any fish. But our brain consumes about 20% of the body's energy, and we get our energy from food. We also feed our brain, which is about 60% made up of fat. And half of that fat is comprised of omega-3 fatty acids. So getting these types of fats, you can get them through supplements, through fatty fish, including salmon, mackerel, albacore tuna, herring, sardines, all of which are really rich sources of omega-3s. Our brain uses omega-3s to build our nerves and our nerve cells, and these fats are essential for learning and memory. Omega-3s also offer several additional benefits for your brain. For one thing is they slow the aging process and mental decline and help ward off Alzheimer's disease. So on the flip side, not getting enough omega-3s is linked to learning impairments as well as depression. So I make sure now that I take supplements that will increase my omega-3s. So I take a fish oil. I don't mind it. I found small capsules that are burpless, scentless, and taste like lemon. I also added krill oil. Again, it's a small supplement. There's no taste. I take them both every day along with a brain health supplement. So these things are all working together to really improve my brain fog. Number 3, eating healthy food. Again, our brain consumes about 20% of our body's energy that we give it through foods. Avoiding sugar and sugar-containing products like sweets, white breads, pastas, and rice, which are the biggest culprits related to brain fog. Foods that can help. I tend to snack on nuts, seeds. You can also do jerky and carrots, and green peppers, cottage cheese, blueberries, oranges. These are all foods that will help your brain and help your body not work so hard to process a lot of protein or a lot of carbs. So number 4 in my list is reduce stress. This was the biggest thing for me, or one of the most major that I noticed was reducing my stress really reduced my brain fog because I was able to think more clearly. And so for me, one of those things was starting a daily meditative practice, taking time to read, just kind of spending time being with myself, being present. But for me, it was just learning to structure my life in a more controlled fashion. Learning skills like being able to say no when I was being asked to do things when I just didn't have the energy or the mental capacity to do because I had always been a people pleaser. And so it was really hard for me to say no. I was always committing. I was always going to help a friend or going out and supporting everyone. But I wasn't taking care of myself. So I've had to learn how to say no to some things, to say yes to myself. Also, how foggy you feel depends on how you react to stress. So if you can just take a few minutes, if you start to feel really foggy, and just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths a couple of times a day, it can really help you reduce your overall stress. Another thing that kind of helps me, it's not going to be in my top 5, but it is something that tends to help a lot of people. I do struggle with having a daily journaling practice, but journaling can help keep your brain in tip-top shape. Not only does it boost your memory and comprehension, it also increases your working memory capacity, which may reflect improved cognition, and it helps keep your memory sharp. So number 5 has really become one of my favorite things, which is reading. I've never been a huge fan of reading. I never liked it in school. I didn't pick it up until the last, 6-7 years, is even something that I kind of wanted to do. I've always been just physically active, and so sitting down and reading was hard for me because I always felt that I was neglecting my family or my responsibilities, and nobody ever talked to me about the importance of self-care. And reading is really one of those things that can provide you a great amount of self-care. Just like going jogging, exercising your cardiovascular system, reading regularly improves your memory function by giving your brain a good workout. With age comes a decline in memory and brain function, but regular reading may slow the process and keep your mind sharper for longer. Those are probably, my top 5 things that I have done, changes that I've made in my life to reduce my brain fog. And as I've said, it has dramatically helped me. And I've noticed, memories that are coming back or that are there and just easily accessed for random things. So it's like, I even will celebrate my memory. I tend to say, go me, look at me remembering stuff. Because when you're bogged down with brain fog, memory loss, overwhelm, anxiety, it's really hard to see clearly, to think clearly. And so these are just a few things that really help me improve my mental clarity and improve my brain fog. So I hope these things will help you. If you like this content and want to continue to see more, please subscribe and follow me on YouTube. My podcast will also be available on Spotify. And you can find me on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, on Finding Resilience with Leann. So thank you. I hope this provided you some information.